Happy Monday! KidNuz is straight ahead, but first, a word from our sponsor.
KidNuz is all about connecting kids to current events. A new domain is all about connecting kids to their own digital creativity. Enter .kids, not .com or .org, but .kids, an online destination for kids to build their own websites, experiment with coding, and maybe turn a great idea into a booming kid-centric business. Think Finley's facepainting.kids or Tommy's tutoring.kids. Help bring your kids' creativity and ideas online on a .kids domain, as a gift, as a project today, or just in time for the holidays. Visit hello.kids/KidNuz today for specially priced .kids domains. That's hello.kids/KidNuz. Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Monday, November 27th, 2023. And we begin with a marketing ploy that has stood the test of time. Today, being the Monday after Thanksgiving, is Cyber Monday, a day of online holiday sales that'll have many adults shopping till their eyes blur and fingers hurt. But when did it all begin? In 2005, when the National Retail Federation put out a press release encouraging consumers to shop online when they returned to work after the holiday weekend. Not everyone had computers at home back then, and even if they did, connections were faster at the office. The nudge worked. Although the lines have blurred between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, today still tends to be the biggest online shopping day of the year. And the busiest hour of the busiest digital day, at least in 2022, was 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, according to Adobe Analytics, when $12.8 million in purchases were made every minute. The world's largest iceberg is on the move for the first time in decades. A23A is its name, and for the past 37 years, it's been stuck to the sea floor near the Antarctic Peninsula. But recent satellite images show the berg, which is more than twice the size of London, getting carried out of the Weddell Sea by wind and currents at a speed of 3 miles per day. According to the BBC and CBS News, A23A will likely be ejected into what's called the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, which will put it on a path known as Iceberg Alley for the high number of ice floats that find their way there. But why is A23A on the go? Scientists aren't exactly sure, but say time has shrunk the berg just enough to make it buoyant so that it could lift up and off the ocean bottom and begin its journey. There's a rare bright spot in the war between Israel and Hamas. Over the weekend, a 4-day ceasefire began, and individuals held on both sides were allowed to return home to their families. There's now talk of extending the pause in fighting so that more people can be released and more humanitarian aid can flow into Gaza. Today begins 3 days of public goodbyes for former First Lady Rosalynn Carter. The woman at President Carter's side for a record-setting 77 years died a little more than a week ago at the age of 96. This afternoon, she'll lie in repose at the Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. Tomorrow, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will attend an invite-only memorial service where country stars Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, who have continued the Carter's humanitarian work building affordable homes with Habitat for Humanity, are expected to sing. Mrs. Carter's funeral service is Wednesday at their hometown church in Plains. How much of it 99-year-old former President Carter will be able to attend is unclear. His family says it all depends on his health. And now, a story about some naughty killer whales from our roving KidNuz correspondent in Massachusetts.
Hi, KidNuz. This is Briggs with a news story from the high seas, this time off the coast of Spain. For the 4th time in the last 2 years, a pod of orcas sank a yacht by ramming the vessel. The New York Times reports the crew escaped safely, but the ship was not as lucky. Marine biologists are still trying to figure out if these orcas are being playful or malicious. But sailors are working on a different issue: how to keep their boats safe while sailing off the coast of Europe. One new tactic is to blast loud music through underwater speakers when orcas approach. There is even a playlist on Spotify called Metal for Orcas, designed specifically to deter the whales. Another strategy is for sailors to check a web page before leaving port that gives updates on orca sightings. I checked out the website and found it really interesting to read about different orca encounters. You can too, by following the link in the resource section on the KidNuz homepage.
Thanks, Briggs. Another fun fact, even though orcas are also known as killer whales, they're actually the largest member of the dolphin family. And while heavy music is one tactic to keep them at bay, at least one group of sailors found it only delayed the ramming but didn't prevent it. Still to come, why some police in South Carolina traded tickets for turkeys last week. But first, today's KidNuz quiz. Today is the big online shopping day known as what? Cyber Monday. How fast is the world's biggest iceberg moving? Three miles per day. Public remembrances for which former First Lady begin today? Rosalynn Carter, wife of former President Jimmy Carter. What type of music are some sailors blasting, hoping to keep orcas away from their boats? Heavy metal. In today's KidNuz Kicker, an easy question. What's better than getting a traffic ticket? Well, just about anything, but getting a turkey is definitely on that list. Last week, in the days leading up to Thanksgiving, police in Summerville, South Carolina, pulled drivers over for minor mistakes, like a broken taillight or for forgetting to buckle up. But instead of giving them a ticket, the officers handed them a free frozen bird. The program is called Turkey No Ticket, and it's been a feel-good tradition there for the past 5 years. Officers are hand-picked for the annual giveaway, which the town's chief says is to break down the walls between law enforcement and the community, defy expectations, and make people happy. Check, check, and check. Before we go, it's time to shout out our KidNuz classrooms, starting with Mrs. Omies and her cubs at Amelia Earhart in Goddard, Kansas. Mrs. Anderson and her Panthers at Kolb in Bay City, Michigan. And Mrs. Vaudrey and her Huskies at Highbridge Hill in New Ipswich, New Hampshire. Thanks for listening, everyone. A reminder that ad-free episodes are available with a subscription. You can sign up on all the major podcast platforms. We hope to see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.